the woman left her water jar and went into the town. I want you to hold on to that sentence out of John's Gospel. The woman left her water jar and went into the town. It's the middle of the desert. Jesus has been walking for some time. He's on his way up to Jerusalem. He's hot. He's tired. Probably a bit dirty and dusty from the road. And he's thirsty. Very thirsty. You know, the human body can endure for 3 weeks without food. But the human body cannot make it through 1 week without water. Water is that important. So Jesus stops outside of the Samaritan town of Sychar. He sits down there at the well of Jacob. Now, in the midst of the desert, the well is a place of life. Everybody has to have water. Everything has to have water. And because it is the place of life, it is the place of salvation. Everything will die without water. So Jesus sits at the well. Notice what time it is. It's about noon. The sun is directly overhead. The heat is incredible. But it is also, when we go forward in the Gospel of St. John, it is the hour of the crucifixion. It is the hour of God's mercy. It is the hour of our salvation. It is Jesus' hour. He would appear to be completely in charge of this scene and of the events that were soon, very soon, to unfold. And this nameless Samaritan woman comes out of town carrying her heavy stone water jar because she has to have water to drink. She has to have water to clean. She has to have water to wash. She has to have water in her home to take care of her daily duties. And Jesus immediately asks her, "Give me a drink." Well, wait a minute, there's something already very wrong. Jesus, a Jewish man, cannot speak to any woman who is alone, and certainly not to a Samaritan woman, because for quite some long time, Jews and Samaritans have not gotten along with one another. Jesus is doing what Jesus is not supposed to do, what no Jewish man is supposed to do. And they enter into conversation. And I invite you to go back into that gospel passage and review and to look at that conversation. They talk about water and life on a physical sense. They talk theology. They talk religion, the practice of their faith. And notice, at first, she calls Jesus Sir. And then she graduates to talking about him, and to him he is prophet. And by the time their conversation has come to a close, she's calling him the Messiah, the Christ. This Samaritan woman is growing into her salvation. Jesus opens himself to her and allows her to know him. And in the process, she has opened herself so that Jesus can come to know her. And in the miracle of that communication and that conversation, Jesus accepts this Samaritan woman for the person that she is. And not only does he accept her as the person that she is, but he loves her. And suddenly, she has absolutely everything she's always longed for. Someone accepts her and loves her for the human being that she is. This strange Jewish man who walked out of the desert and sat down at the well of Jacob has just given her love as no one else has ever given her love. She's had 5+ husbands, and not one of them loved her as completely, as totally, as profoundly as Jesus is loving her at that moment. She's been freed. She can now love herself. She left her water jar and went into the town. Now, why would she do that? She's going to have that water jar. She needs the water, which she didn't draw. She's got work to do. She and her family are going to be thirsty. But she left the water jar and went into town. And when she got into town, she went to all of the neighbors and said to them, I just met a man who told me everything I've ever done. It was a small place. They all knew what she had done. They all knew how she lived. But the urgency in her voice, the excitement, this is different. This is radically different. So she gathers all of them. She takes them out to the well to meet Jesus. And Jesus stays there for 2 days. In a Samaritan town. In a place he's not even supposed to be because he's Jewish. And we can be absolutely certain that over those 2 days, Jesus taught the love and the mercy of the Father. She left her water jar and went in to the town. What did she leave at the well? Was it simply an empty, dry water jar? Or did she really leave at the well the empty, dry shell of herself? A woman who was forever thirsting, forever searching, forever desiring someone who would love her for herself. She came back from Sychar with all of her neighbors, filled with life-giving water, thirsting for even more of Jesus himself, excited and ecstatic. She had grown into the salvation that she'd only read about and heard about. And now she has it for herself, and she can't wait to share it. I met a man who told me everything I'd ever done. She wasn't excited about the theology they taught. It didn't really matter about the religion that they shared. What mattered is that personal, intimate relationship, her heart speaking directly to Jesus' heart, and Jesus' heart opening to receive hers. That's all that mattered. And it's all that matters today. We too have been filled with living water. It happened at our baptism. And our water jars are refilled every time we celebrate Eucharist. And we are ecstatically happy to go out into the world and to proclaim the good news of Jesus Christ. To talk about what He's done for us in our life and what He can do in the lives of all the people we touch and know. She left her water jar and went in to the town. We came here to be filled. We came here, each one of us with our own emptiness, our own thirst. We'll leave here the body of Christ going out to fill everybody else's water jar with that living water that is life